Guided discoveries. In this video, you will learn the guided discovery strategy. Through this approach, students will be introduced to various classroom materials, explore their possible uses, and learn responsible use and care of them. Let's begin. What is guided discovery? It's a strategy used to help students get excited and to think creatively about multiple ways to use materials and tools. Students are introduced to materials, given time to explore and share ideas, and learn how to correctly care for the materials. The goal is to establish and teach norms for the use, care, and storage of materials so that students can access these independently. How does guided discovery work? There are 5 steps to the process. Step 1: Introduction and naming. In this step, the teacher shows the material, names it, and elicits student responses for how they used the material in the past. The goal for this step is to get students interested in the material and build common knowledge regarding the material. Step 2: Generating and modeling student ideas. In this step, the teacher asks students to first share ideas about different ways they can use the material. After hearing a few ideas, the teacher will then ask some students to model their idea. While the student models, the rest of the class observes and learns. During this step, it is also a good idea to ask students to generate ideas about how to care for the materials. Just like before, have a student model while the other students observe. Step 3: Exploration and experimentation. In this step, all students get an opportunity to use the material. At first, all students are guided by the teacher to do the same thing. After a while, students are asked to try out one of their own ideas and begin to explore independently. It is during this step that the teacher may narrate a few ideas, and reinforce or remind students about expectations. Step 4: Sharing exploratory work. In this step, students are given the opportunity to share their work. This might be students telling the class about what they did or showing the actual product they made during the exploration time. The sharing of work should be voluntary. Step 5: Cleanup and care of materials. In this step, students are shown where the material is kept. Have one student model the cleanup and putting away of the material. Everyone watches and then a few students share what they observed. As the whole class begins the cleanup, the teacher observes and reinforces, reminds, or redirects as needed. What are the benefits to guided discoveries? Using this approach helps foster a hands-on learning experience. It stimulates critical thinking skills as students explore and discover new ideas. It teaches problem-solving skills as students navigate challenges associated with the material, and students take ownership and responsibility of their learning how to handle materials and care for them properly. How do I get started? Work collaboratively with your team to generate a list of materials students use throughout the year. Create a script for the 5 steps listing questions to ask to guide the discovery. Practice with your team prior to introducing the guided discovery. Take notes and modify and adjust as needed. Here are some tips for success with guided discoveries. Choose materials that students will be using throughout the year. Don't use this strategy for a material they will be using only once. When starting out, give each student a small amount of the material to explore. Use open-ended questions to encourage critical thinking. Use guided discoveries extensively at the beginning of the year and throughout the year as needed to either review procedures or renew interest. Incorporating the guiding discovery strategy into your teaching practice will take time at the beginning, but you will see rewards at the end when students are independent and take ownership of caring and using materials properly.